here we are. This is going to be book talk 4, and we're going to before. I mean, the literary stuff. I mean, we talked to the writer Eurydice and Arthur Nersessian. They were individual authors, and then we talked to S.E. and Guitarski about a year ago about the Grove Press number, and since then, Ferlinghetti and Floyd Salas have died since we even talked to even a year ago. So things have changed, and so I'm going back. I mean, and we did a interview with a lot of Babar people early in 2021, and I did some film stuff, but I never released any of that because for different reasons. And now we're going to start focusing on the 80s and the Beyond Baroque poets, the Venice poets, and the South Bay poets. So my take on that scene is the 70s is like the beats were kind of fading a little bit in the end of the 70s, and at least in LA and California, maybe nationally, Bukowski and Wanda Coleman were probably like the best new writers, even though they were not young. I mean, there was not really a focus on younger poets or something. I mean, I don't think so until maybe the beat, the Beyond Baroque thing was maybe the first focus on younger poets, like young, in the poets in their 20s, say, post college or even in college. So like there was that. And then the reading series of Beyond Baroque started happening, and there was stuff in Long Beach, and there was a Long Beach connection. So we're going to be exploring that. We're going to talk to Jack Skelley, who recently came out with a book, Dennis Wilson and Charles Manson by Jack Skelley on Fred and Barney Press. And I read his earlier books, Monsters, and I have a copy of Barney magazine. And one of the first exposures when I was at Long Beach State was Poetry Loves Poetry, edited by Bill Moore. Bill Moore, not to be confused with the talk show host Bill Moore, and that's his name, right? Poetry Loves Poetry, an anthology of Los Angeles poets, edited by Bill Moore. And and they had all the Venice poets: Amy Gersler, Jack Skelley, David Trinidad, Dennis Cooper, Ed Smith, Ron Coturge, and a lot of them. And that was my first. In 86, 87, I hadn't read really many contemporary authors besides like Kurt Vonnegut and Gilbert Sorrentino, and Brodigan, I guess, was fairly new. People like that, people that were kind of, you would read a book. But this was my first exposure to LA. And then I didn't really embrace them until I got to San Francisco in 88, 89. And then I worked at Small Press Traffic, and I got to see, after a lot of trips of going to bookstores in the LA area and going to Beyond Baroque itself at the bookstore, and picking up like books by David Trinidad and Amy Gersler, Jack Skelley, Dennis Cooper, and their anthologies at Little Caesar Press. A Taste of the Honey I had, but I think I got that at Small Press Traffic. And, San Francisco, there was a lot of smaller bookstores. So we're going to be talking to Jack Skelley today, and we're going to be asking him all about, we're bringing this back to that time. And there was a recent show at the Hammer Museum called Made in LA 2020 LA version. Sabrina Tarasov was part of that, and there's the Fear of Poetry documentary that's on YouTube that you can watch, and there's a few interviews with Tosh Berman and David Trinidad, Jack Skelley, and so on, and you can check out. So this is a little preview of that. We might be mentioning kind of like the related books of the John Doe books that came out about 3 years ago. We'll be talking about that too. Okay, so we'll see you at the interview. It's gonna and Jack Skelley and Dennis Cooper are part of my best of 2021 books. So you got Jack Skelley here's book, and you got Dennis Cooper, I Wished, are among my favorites. So we've been going for 5 minutes, so let's get to the interview. We'll see you on Mixcloud and YouTube.